Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions for the Arrow and Flash Q&A this week. Lots of stuff happening just because we're getting so close to the finale, including the first reveal of what Katana's costume is going to look like. There's also some news about the spin-off show. Supposedly, Victor Garber did an interview where he revealed that it would premiere sometime in January and it was going straight to series. There hasn't been any confirmation on that, but that is in line with a lot of the rumors we've been hearing about the show. So what they might end up doing is premiering the spin-off series with the back half of Arrow and the Flash. Meaning that as we get the last 10 or 13 episodes of Arrow and the Flash next season, they'll also air the episodes of the spin-off series. They said they haven't shot the pilot yet, but supposedly the cast has gotten together, so hopefully they'll have like a promo ready for the finale of the Flash or Arrow. Comic-Con is like just around the corner, so they'll probably have some more news around that time. So on to questions, here we go. First one, Rose Lily asks, if Barry created Gideon, why is the AI helping Wells? Well, there's two ways to look at this. One is that the AI was lying to Barry when it said that he created it. Or two, the Reverse Flash stole it from Barry in the future. The actor that played Eobard Thawne is going to be back before the end of the series, so what I'm hoping is they do like a flash forward and we get some of Eobard Thawne's backstory. In this last episode, he said nothing is forgiven, implying that the Flash did something to slight the Reverse Flash or something to harm him. That seems like something they would eventually show us before the season finale. Next question, Para asks, is it possible for Barry to time travel to the future and find that Caitlin is Killer Frost or Cisco as the Vibe? So you're wondering like if Barry's going to see a future where everything's gone crazy and there are a bunch of supervillains running around. No, I don't think that that's going to happen. If they're going to end up being more like they are in the comics, like with their superpowers or super tech in the case of Cisco, I think that they would show us that in present day first. I do think we'll see flash forwards, like Barry probably will time travel into the future at some point, maybe in season 2. But I don't think they'll go full Terminator where you see like the post-apocalyptic wasteland, like the dark alternate future if something goes wrong. Danielle Panabaker did say that she had a flashback in last week's episode that showed a colder version of Caitlin, and that was going to be like a Killer Frost type joke, but supposedly it got cut from the episode. Next question, R. Pitt Roy asks, how does the fake Harrison Wells, Hannibal Bates, pass the superconductor shield? Well, so if you remember, the shield was just designed to keep people moving at super speed out. So anybody who wasn't a speedster could pass through. So metahumans, regular people, anybody. It wasn't that he was vibrating his way through, like he literally just stepped through as if you were stepping through a doorway. Next question, Lee Wu asks, I don't get the whole timeline stuff. So just to give like a broad explanation, you're probably talking about the alternate timeline. I'm just going to do like a real quick once over for what's going on with the series. So what you have is Eobard Thawne from the 25th century going back in time to Barry as a child to try and kill him to prevent him from becoming the Flash. Future Barry from 2024 learns about it, goes back to fight him that night, prevents him from killing young Barry. As a consolation, Eobard Thawne kills Barry's mother, then gets stuck. That night's about 15 years before present day on the show, which is also about 10 years before the crisis in the newspaper. So in the original timeline, before the show started, the Flash became the Flash around 2020, and then 4 years after that, they had the big crisis. Eobard changed that, so we're already in like the second timeline. Then there's the third timeline created when Barry time traveled earlier this season, the one where Cisco died. Barry went back in time that week, altered events so that Cisco did not die, but like Eobard Thawne said, if you try to change the past to avert a disaster, time will find a way to replace that disaster with something just as bad. That's like the show's way of explaining why Barry just doesn't time travel all the time. So hopefully that helps a little bit. The alternate timeline, the one that Cisco is remembering, isn't going to merge with the present timeline or anything like that. They're just going to keep remembering it. Next question, Sci-Fi and Banter asks, is it possible for Barry to go back in time to prevent Oliver from joining the League, or will that create some kind of paradox that will make everything else worse? Well, I kind of answered that like a little bit in the last question, but no, the reason why I don't think that the Flash is just going to change time and erase half a season of Arrow is because that would be a huge WTF from the writer's room. It'd be like a giant middle finger to all of us that have been watching Arrow for the last 6 months. Like saying, hey, all this stuff we had these characters do, that doesn't matter, we just wiped it clean. That would be like the laziest writing you could possibly do. So whatever ends up happening with Oliver, I think they'll resolve that on Arrow. He does team up with the Flash, but we don't know if League Oliver here is still brainwashed or if he's been fixed and he just happens to be wearing that costume still. right now on like the list of like big questions that need to be answered in the next couple of episodes, that's still like really high on the list. Next question, Jessica asks, so Barry and the Reverse Flash both went back in time. Did Future Flash go back to his timeline, or is he still in the past trapped like the Reverse Flash? That's a really good question. I saw a lot of you asking that. What happened to Future Barry that went back to stop young Barry from being killed? The simplest explanation is that he was erased when they changed the past, when Nora Allen died, because in the original timeline, Barry just grew up and became the Flash in 2020. So short answer, that future Barry ceased to exist the minute Nora Allen died. Next question, Forkmaster asks, when did they reference Hawkgirl? So she was in the future newspaper when they were talking about the crisis, whenever they give the big Justice League shout out. But for those asking about that future newspaper, especially like the Wayne Tech merger, Justice League, there are some things that they can do on the show, some things that they will never be able to do. So you just have to remember that sometimes when they do Easter eggs like that, they're just winks, and sometimes they're actually setting something up. Hawkgirl we know is in the spinoff, so that's, more teeing something up. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, probably never going to be on The Flash or Arrow. I don't think that they would ever do Justice League, or DC would even let them do Justice League, if it meant breaking canon like that. If they do Justice League in the future, it'll probably just be as a turn of phrase, like they'll just reference the Justice League. The spin-off show will be like a proto version of the Justice League. Interestingly enough, they still have not settled on a final title for that yet, even though Legends of Tomorrow is like the rumored working title. I don't think that's what it's actually going to end up being. Next question, Neto asks, does this mean that there's not going to be Talia in future seasons? I'm assuming you're talking about the League of Assassins, Oliver Queen, Nyssa arc. No, it doesn't mean she won't ever be on the show. It just means that Nyssa is always going to be like the top tier sister. The producers did a Q&A a while ago where people were asking about Talia al Ghul. They're like, does she exist in this universe? They said, well, she doesn't not exist. They just haven't decided how they want to integrate her. When they do eventually mention her or show her, she's always going to be a fringe thing. Katrina Law is going to be like the go-to actress. So if there's like a major arc involving the League of Assassins or one of the daughters of Ra's al Ghul, it's always going to be based on Nyssa's character. The practical reason for doing that is that it doesn't cause them to step on a lot of Batman canon toes. As much as they change from the comics, they still try to honor the source material. Next question, Renan asks, is that Katana or Cheshire in next week's promo? That is Katana straight out of the comics, like right off the page. There's a few things they have to explain, like they have to explain how she ended up in that comic book costume. All we know of her in the flashbacks are that she has some skills and she uses a blade. What I think happened is they intended to do like a big Katana arc and the actress just wasn't available. So you get to this big finale moment where they're like, here's Katana from the comic books. And you're like, wait, where's she been this whole time? How did she get in that costume? Where did it come from? There's only 2 episodes left, so we'll probably find out what's going on with that costume next week. Next question, Go Revive Yourself asks, why can't Argus just flatten Nanda Parbat with missiles and get Oliver back? That hasn't been addressed. Actually, Mark Guggenheim did address it on his Tumblr. He said if they did that, there wouldn't be a story. He was kind of half joking. It's the same reason why Barry can't just come in and fix all of Arrow's problems for itself, that there wouldn't be a TV show if they did that. So you have to watch with like a certain suspension of disbelief. Like these characters are going to solve their own problems. Every once in a while, they might get some consulting help from Team Flash. If you want to get like really technical with the Argus stuff, you could say that Amanda Waller is busy with something else. I have a feeling when they bring Damien Dark on the show next season, or even at the end of this season, they'll weave him in and blame a lot of the larger problems that have been happening to the characters on him. Like they've already tied him to the Earthshaker machine. So if you're wondering why mega organization with lots of weapons, resources are tied up and they're not helping Team Arrow more, it's probably because they're fighting Hive. Next question, Pesky Onion asks, why is Oliver blowing up Starling? I assume you're talking about the Omega weapon. He wants him to release the virus to kind of clean the city, so to speak, clean his past. That's what he said. He might have ulterior motives. He might be manipulating Oliver to get rid of something in Starling without actually telling him the truth. Or option B, he could be completely genuine. Wipe your previous life clean so that you can become someone new. Don't worry though, there can be no, mega weapon storyline without 5 or 6 shocking twists before the finale. So we'll probably get some more information that'll add some more context as to why Oliver has to do this to Starling. Thank you so much everyone for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. I know there's been a whole bunch of big news going on lately. Right now, if you ever wanted to see what it looks like when the online Hollywood community takes a dump on someone. Just look at Josh Trank on Twitter. I feel really bad for the guy. There's a lot of rumors going around that I don't want to spread about him because they could be false. But he left the Star Wars project and now everyone's just like taking a dump on him. That's one of the really bad things about leaving a big project. Like if Zack Snyder ended up departing before he made Justice League. That's typically when like studio PR machines come in and start, pounding all the rumors like big 800-pound gorillas. Speaking of which, I just posted my trailer video for Grodd Lives. That episode, it's going to be so much fun. You have no idea. He's probably going to be a big thing in season 2. You can click here to watch that if you haven't seen it yet. And if you guys have seen Age of Ultron, I did a breakdown with spoilers in it. You can click here to watch that. Or if you just want spoilers. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.